Yeah, I'm from Buffalo, New York. Anybody else from Buffalo, New York here? No one? All right, maybe one. He's wearing a Cubs shirt, so that makes it a little suspicious. Buffalo, New York, we have a weird reputation. Let me give you an example of that. I was down in New Orleans recently. Anybody gone to New Orleans? All right, there we go. We all like to get drunk down south. So I'm in New Orleans on Bourbon Street, and I'm on day 2 of a drink fest with my best buddy from college. We're having a great time. And we're outside of a place called the Swamp. And the Swamp is great because they have 3-for-1 deals, which is crazy, right? And I'm feeling pretty good, feeling pretty lax. And my buddy's in front of me getting his ID checked. I'm behind him, just like kind of swinging. It's sunny out. I'm feeling good. All of a sudden in my ear, I hear, "Be cool. I've got a knife at your back. And if you make any sudden moves, I will stab you. You are getting robbed right now. So just slowly take your wallet out and pass it to me." So I've never been robbed before. I'm new to Chicago, and I didn't really know. I was feeling so lax that I was like, I think I might actually just piss myself right now. Like this is, I know this isn't what I expected. So I start to like shakily reach for my wallet, and he goes, "Oh man, I'm just fucking with you." And then he turns to the other security guard because he himself is also a security guard. This is a thing that security guards do, I guess, in New Orleans. He goes to the other security guard. He goes, "Oh man, this dude guy, he thought he was getting robbed. Look at him, he's about to piss himself." Other security guard goes, "Yo dude, don't fuck with these guys. They're from Buffalo." And the other security guard goes, "Oh shit, I'm sorry, you guys from Buffalo?" He's like, "I'm so sorry. Please go in. My humblest apologies. Y'all motherfuckers are crazy, be biting people's dicks off and shit." Whoa. And my buddy turns around like, "What the fuck is going on right now?" And I'm like, "Just be cool." I'm like, "Yeah, dude, we haven't eaten all day, so watch your dicks."
My process with coming up with jokes is I will most of the time be out seeing other people perform or seeing a show or even sometimes just seeing like a movie or seeing something that's like creative and isn't my own essentially. And I'll be out seeing that and then I'll be kind of inspired by it and I'll literally write down like a word or two in my notes on my phone. And then later on kind of like muse it over, mull it over. And then when I go up to actually perform, it will still only be like those two things. Starts like kind of goofy and then it gets serious, which I think is a big thing for me that I like is when you're kind of on that roller coaster in a set. Dave Chappelle's like that too, where all of a sudden it gets real serious. And when it gets serious, you get everybody's attention, you lock them in. And then when you follow it up with like something goofy, it like pops the balloon and then it's just like, okay, like this isn't as bad as we thought it was going to be. Sometimes people do stand-up sets and they're building it up and there is no release and then you're like, oh, this is like therapy for people. Like they're just like going through like past traumas and stuff like that, which hey, that's if that helps you for sure. But I definitely want to have that like laugh explosion afterwards. So that's one of my bits that I think does a good job at that. It's got the good pacing in it, and it makes me get into it, but also I can be a little patient and have fun with it. I was like, "Is anybody here from Buffalo?" And like nobody responded. And I was like, "Okay, just me." And I was like, "Okay, it's a little awkward." And I'm like, "Well, let me ask you this: is anybody from New Orleans?" And the whole table was from New Orleans. I was like, "Perfect." I'm like, I got some people in my corner here. And then I'm like, "Okay, cool." I'm like, "Well, being out on Bourbon Street and like other people who've been to New Orleans are like, oh, we've been on Bourbon Street. We know the chaos and madness that is that street." And then I'm doing like specifics. Like I feel like specifics help big time, especially when you have people that are in your corner already. You'd be like, I was like talking about the Swamp and it's like a spot that's always there and it's always a mess. And like I said, the Swamp and they were just like, oh my God, like losing it just because I just dropped a detail. So I was like, okay, cool. So yeah, I don't know. I feel like that's a big part of comedy too, both improv and stand-up, is doing like specific details because then people can relate to it and then they're like, oh my God, I know exactly what he's talking about or where he's going with this joke. So yeah, that helped. And then it was fun because then I could keep referencing it back. If people had never been to New Orleans. I'm like, okay, well then I'm not gonna talk about a place that, it's like, it's a little trickier. Then it's like, okay, I can't do little, tips back to you guys. But yeah, I definitely staying flexible, because there's bits that, some of my bits are a little longer, and if I get the vibe that people are not into it, it's okay, we're gonna shorten it and we'll try something totally new. Which I like to maximize my time. I know some comics that they're like, if they're not feeling the crowd, they will just dip. They're like, yeah, okay, that's my time, I'm out. But sometimes you're waiting for, especially like the open mics, you're waiting for hours. It's like, you might as well just try out some stuff. Like, why not go for it a little bit? But yeah, it's all everybody's comfort level and what you feel comfortable doing. But I think, finding what's funny to you and having a couple things, geared up in case something doesn't work, so you can swap between them. And then knowing when to call it too. Yeah, I know there's people that are like, well, that's all I have. As opposed to someone who's like, I'm just gonna meander on a topic. Like that's not so great. But yeah, it's a comfort level for sure on stage. That I think that helps. And then if you're comfortable too, then I feel like everybody else is usually on board. If you go up there and you're shaking or you're like really nervous, which I've totally done before in the past, it's like tougher. It's tougher. Like people are like, they're almost sidetracked by your nervousness. And it's like, oh man, I don't know. It's like, they're right there as uncomfortable as you are. So you can be a little bit more in your own oats, then I think it helps overall.